So this is a video about Deja Vu, because I had Deja Vu this morning and it reminded me of, I was going to make a video on it about a month ago, and then just got busy, didn't get around to doing it. But I had Deja Vu this morning and it reminded me, I thought, oh, let's do a video on that again. And yeah, I was watching a video by, I'm not sure where she's from somewhere in South America, but I think she lives in the States. Her name's Janelle Longoria. She's got a YouTube channel, and which is very good actually. She's really into it, but she's not in it for the money. She just kind of she's really into it. She makes very interesting videos, and she mentioned in one of her videos a while back that she'd read that they were saying like scientists that they were kind of identifying, or they thought they'd identified the part of the brain responsible for deja vu and what it was. And she was saying she didn't believe this, and I just, how can you do that? I mean, cut to the chase. How on earth can you scientifically quantify something that's basic? It'd be even harder to scientifically study deja vu than it would be to like scientifically study UFOs. I mean, you know, like some UFO sightings, if you're lucky enough to film the thing or get reliable witness, how long is it lasting? Like, not long, a few minutes. What's deja vu? How long is that lasting? A few seconds? 4 seconds? 10 seconds? 15 seconds if you're lucky? It just, it brought me round to thinking about something Thomas Sheridan was saying about the way everything has to be scientifically quantified, like an answer, like in a book, has to be put forward to explain everything. You know, and all these things they're thinking up in the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. You know, like the psychiatrists use. You know, if you're not happy with things and you complain about stuff, then suddenly you've got oppositional defiance disorder and this kind of thing. But no, I mean, deja vu, it's like it's a funny thing with deja vu, because I think a lot of people, they think they're talking about deja vu, but like, to them what deja vu means is that they've done something and they're doing it again, and they say, oh, I've got deja vu. Like, oh, you're coming into work at the same time for the third day running, and they say, oh, I've got deja vu. When it's like, no, deja vu's like, you know, that real deja vu's that, I don't even know how to describe it, that kind of insane, this weird, timeless clarity that, like, kind of falls upon you for a short period, almost like a veil's been lifted, and your perceptions, like, it's not just what you're doing, or for me, yeah, I'm sure everyone's experience is different, but it's not just what you're doing that you're kind of remembering in the present. It's the thoughts that are in your head, everything that's going on in your world. It's like you're remembering all that as well, and like I say, how can you quantify that, and how can you study that scientifically? And I don't know, how does somebody think they can just explain it away? I mean, whenever you know you get that feeling of deja vu, I'm sure a lot of people have it, and sometimes it's so powerful. It's like, just to have that explained away, it's like, oh yeah, what you're experiencing was this because some synapse is doing something else, or maybe it's because you ate something last night. Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so I was thinking about this thing of deja vu, and also kind of combining it with other things like this, like precognition. I don't know if anyone's had precognitive dreams. I certainly have, but usually it's like nothing to shout about. Usually there are things that are so random and unimportant, but it's, you know, it's like you have a dream and then the thing happens the next day or a couple of days later. It's like, I've wondered what the hell is going on there. What the hell is going on? And I was thinking of, you know, people have ideas of that. There's a theory that, oh, the life you've lived, you've already lived it before, and you live your life over and over and over and over again, and it's like there's no real destiny. And to me, a more logical, well, it's not really logical, but an idea that sits better with me is that time is not linear and it's not cyclical. It's just permanent. All time, the past and the future, the alpha and the omega, it's just there all the time. And everything has happened, although it can happen in different ways with this idea of timelines, that there are infinitesimal timelines, but all time has happened, and the past and the future, it's existing all the time. Rather like one of those, I don't know if you know what I mean. You get these pictures, you get them a lot in Arabic countries, places like Turkey or Morocco or Egypt. They're quite popular out there. You'll see it in people's homes. It's like a picture, like a 3D picture that you put on the wall, but it's kind of made from a couple of bits of glass with a light behind, and it has this kind of weird, like, this 3D effect. I see time as being like this. That it's like the layer upon layer upon layer of time, but as a picture, like the beginning of time and the end of time, all all existing at once at the same time, but like a living thing. And you can, look, there's no reason to assume, which everyone always does, that when you die, if you believe in reincarnation, that you get reincarnated in a linear fashion. There's no reason that you could not be reincarnated back in time. You could I could die today and then get reincarnated back in, I don't know, in the Middle Ages or the Stone Age or in the future. And the life that I've left that's been killed, it's still there. It all happened and it's there living, and then at some point something will reincarnate, and it's that recognition of this thing that is happening now has happened, or it is happening, this intense thing, a deja vu, that's kind of what's going on. It's kind of a weird one. And that kind of explains that. I mean, if you're sort of within this lifetime, that's already been lived, but you haven't lived it. Within that time frame, that you can get these precognitive dreams, because time has already happened. Although maybe your actions and your thoughts, you know, they influence the timeline, so to speak. But all those timelines have existed, or maybe are being created and uncreated all the time. I remember about 30 years ago, I was on the bus in London and I got off. But before I got off, it was in coming out of Holborn. And I remember thinking, shall I get off at this stop or shall I get off at the next stop? And I got off at this stop, and then the bus went ahead. And I was just thinking of, it would have been so easy for me to still be on the bus and for things to have been different, just that difference of one thought, I would have been somewhere else in time. I would have been in front of myself if I hadn't acted then. It's just like how fragile time, this idea of timelines is. So I don't know. It's just my thoughts on deja vu and precognition, because it's definitely real. And yeah, I was this idea of all time existing all the time. I was listening to someone a while back, and they were talking about like from a kind of a occult perspective. Um, a similar idea. This idea of time, it's there all the time, and you can't remember being dead, and that death doesn't actually exist. And I'm kind of quite interested in this idea that there is no death, because the future and the past, it's there all the time. So you can be anywhere. The fact that you're here at the moment and you're in a physical body which is going to decay and disappear is really irrelevant in the great scheme of things. You know, in this idea of like consciousness. And I can't remember exactly how they put it. I'm probably forgetting something that they said that made me link it with this idea of deja vu. But they were saying it's that this is really could be where humanity is heading, for this knowledge that death doesn't actually exist. That time is it's almost like it's like air. It's like it's like the kind of the I don't know, the ether or whatever is time. And there's this occult from the Necronomicon, which is supposedly, well, it is a work of fiction, but this kind of thing that's caught on, and that with doth eternal lie, and with strange aeons even death may die. And this is this I think explains this kind of idea that knowledge will come to humanity slowly, that time doesn't, and death, time does exist, but death doesn't exist, because time is just a thing that's it's here all the time. Anyway, that was like a random thing. I could probably like I say, I've probably forgotten things, but no, I thought it was quite interesting. And this idea of scientifically studying deja vu, I mean, I'm not having that. It's the same as the 100th monkey syndrome. There's no way you could actually quantify that. And a couple of other random things. I picked up a copy of The Brotherhood by Stephen Knight the other day. I remember reading this when I was working in London years ago. And picked it up for £1, thought I'd give it a read again. And noticed on his Wikipedia page, he died. I wasn't aware of that. And guess how old he was when he died? 33. And I had something else that cropped up. I was reading John McVicar. He wrote a book on the Jill Dando murder, which I never knew. I knew John McVicar was a journalist of sorts, but I didn't know he'd written this book. So I read this book, and it was all right. I think his theories are a bit of a stretch, but I came across this copy of the Radio Times, which I took from my parents in 1997, and a lot of people still don't know about this. the week before Jill Dando was killed, she was on the cover of the Radio Times. There, as you can see, she was doing a new series about. It was kind of like a cross, like bargain hunt. She was going around the country looking at antiques, and she was the cover star the week of the murder. This is that week's Radio Times, and it's very interesting because I always felt there was these kind of weird parallels between with Jill Dando and Princess Diana. Now, obviously, Princess Diana, there's a lot of theories about her and what happened to her in Paris, and the jury's still out on that one. You're never going to know. But there's some weird parallels that I kind of noticed, probably only of interest to me. Now here it's like you've got Jill Dando. This is the article in the Radio Times. She's in a car, which is just kind of, and it says, what Dando did next. What Dando did next. And it was a strange thing. When Princess Diana died, my girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend, I told her about it because I got home from work that morning. I've been doing a night shift and watching it on the TV all night on ITV at work, and I told her, and then she said, "Oh, fucking hell," because we were both kind of conspiracy theorists. She said, "Oh, do you remember what she said last week?" And I was like, "No," and she reminded me, and then I remembered my girlfriend had told me that Lady Diana had said the scenario was this. Prince Charles everyone knew him and Camilla were together, and him and Diana had split up, and there was a whole thing with Dodie going on. But everyone knew that Charles and Camilla were an item, but they had actually made their first unofficial but public appearance, like as a couple, like a week before Diana's accident. And Diana had said, what journalists had said to her when she was in the south of France, "Oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of what's going on with Charles and Camilla?" And she had reputedly said, "Oh, don't you worry about that. Just you watch and see what I do next. It's going to stun the world. Watch what I'm doing next." And then, like the day after, she denied saying it. She turned around and said, no, I never said this. I never said that. And it's just this weird thing with Jill Dando. And it says what Dando did next. And then a few days later, she was dead. And then I also just discovered, whilst I was reading this stuff about Princess Diana recently, that Jill Dando was one of the commentators on the funeral of Diana. It's on YouTube. She's talking about the day and everything and commentating on what people are doing, and there are mourners here and bloody blah, the atmosphere is like this, and then Jill Dando's husband to be, they never got married because she was killed, but her husband to be went on to be the surgeon or doctor to the royal family. And the strangest thing as well with this copy of the Radio Times is there's the cover, and then on the back page, you open it out, couldn't you just murder? Now, to me, the combination of this with this, that would be a big indicator. I mean, a lot of conspiracy theorists would say, "Oh, well, yeah, duh." But to me, that would be an indicator of maybe I don't know, the person who did bump her off kind of saw this, and they saw this, and they're a bit crazy, and they put it together, and I don't know. both deaths, Diana's death and this death, they're both equally as strange, and there's these weird parallels. So yeah. Anyway, that's that random video. I'd rather done it outside, but it's 7th, 8th of May, and it feels like November out there. I don't know what's going on. There's no leaves on the trees or anything. Weird.